Hello everyone, how's it going today? Welcome back to Lego building. It has been a little while. I have been sick. Also, like, holidays just interfered at first, and then I got sick, which is, always fun, always fun. I'm still technically sick. I can hear it in my voice even if you guys can't. But I decided that the month of January is going to be Architecture Month. I've got a few architecture sets to build, so I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and build them. It's kind of like, I kind of decided, because a couple years ago, I built the Great Pyramid in January, because that's when I went on my vacation to Egypt. So I figured, hey, maybe every January can be Architecture Month. So here we have Notre Dame, which is pretty cool. It's very big, 4383 pieces. There is a rumor that there's going to be an architecture set later this year that is going to have 12,000 pieces. So I'm excited to see what that is. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen any rumors as to what it might be. We also have a gift with purchase, Mini Knight's Castle. We've got two small representations of old castles, which is actually almost 600 pieces, which is crazy for a gift with purchase, but it is mostly small parts. So also it has the construction by date, because they didn't actually finish it until the 18th century. That's gonna happen, Come on. I need a knife. I had a knife, but it broke. So now I just use scissors. And scissors are terrible for opening boxes, I find. Yes, it's pre-fire. And we can get it out of the way. There's no fire pieces. You can't make the representation of it burning. Now that that's out of the way, start getting things out. There's 5, 25, 27, 20, 14, 21, the Jason Alexander Gargoyle. I have no idea what that means. Howdy, Bahamut, how's it going? I have the animals on order. They haven't come in yet. They haven't actually shipped yet, so. There's 10. Hugo? Or are you talking about the Disney Hunchback movie? I've never actually seen that. I think Tarzan might have been the last one that I saw when it came out. Like in theaters. Alright, now it's a small box time. Let's get this open. Alright, hold on a second. A bot message got caught in the filter, so I need to go ahead and ban them. And report them. Oh, you have to actually type something in now? That sucks. Alright, hold on. Like I keep my keyboard to the side so that I don't need it while I'm doing these streams. There we go. Okay. Took care of that. There's one. And Gildatongue gifting out a sub. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's funny how like the bots tend to happen in waves. It's been a while since I've actually seen one here. We are going to do the mini Knight's Castle before we build this, but might as well get all these out of the way. And there's our instruction booklet. I doubt there's any stickers, but just in case, put it to the side so that it's easy to access. Another 30. There's 8. 24. 18. It's a lot of pieces. It is a lot of pieces. And Gildatongue hitting that 40 watch streak as well. There's 4, and there's 6. Okay. How big is my backlog? Fairly large. Fairly large. There's 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. All small bags, which is actually kind of annoying. It's 26. 23, 24, 22, there's 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, there's 24, all right. Alright, so down to 20. There's 18. 16, 15. There's 19. 18. 17. 16, 15. 14, yep. 13, 12, and 11. 10. Twitch is doing the drunk hype train again. Well, hey, I'm all for it. And Bahamut gifting out a pair of subs. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's 6. There's 9. 8. 7. 6. Tiny bag for 5. 4. 3, 2, And 1. Alright, so before we do that, this was a gift with purchase late last year, Mini Knights Castles. Has a pair of small versions of actual castle sets. I'd have to go look up the actual set numbers. I want to say that that's 6070, but it might be like 6090. Might as well take advantage of the situation. Indeed. Indeed. There we go. Alright, so that's 2. 3. 5. 6. I'm guessing 6 is going to be the last. 4. 3, 2. Oh. Nope. There's a 7. There we go. And 1. And our instruction booklet's got rather squished up. All right, so let's start with number 1. Kind of surprised that they don't have a little blurb of text to tell you what sets these are based on. Because adults will know, but, I mean, some adults will know. Not as good with the set, remembering the set numbers for some of these old sets as I used to be. Getting old, man, I tell ya. And Clouth Warthog gifting out a whole bunch of subs. Thank you very much. Was that 10 subs? 9. Close to it. All right. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Get that hype train going. All right. Okay, starting out with the little mini horse. And howdy, Sweet Like Sugar. How's it going? Okay, headlight brick. Get a black 1x1 plate with clip. I do like these little mini sets of classic sets. I think that they're very adorable. I like that they are doing these. I think that's supposed to be a shield there. Staying warm inside there in snowy Michigan? I want snow. We got a little bit of snow. Actually, before winter started. But we haven't had any since. I'm very sad. I can have some. We'll just send it my way. You'll mail it to me? We'll go right ahead. All right, let's see. Okay. D side stud piece here. You could also just, like, redirect the weather, you know? Everyone would do that, right? Send it down to me instead. Okay, we got our, horse head on there, and a lance. Two 1x1 cylinder plates with hollow studs for the head and helmet. And a classic small feather. Yeah, I'm sure that the local post office would love getting a package of no longer frozen snow. to a P.O. box. I have been tempted to set one up, but I think it's like $600 a month, not a month, but a year, which is a lot. I don't know that I would get enough things. Alright, there is our little knight. Let's start the castle itself. Here's the other angle plate. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to actually... Like, people would actually have to send me a fair bit of stuff for it to be worthwhile. And I haven't had too many people actually ask, so... Alright, let's get our hinge bricks, plates. One by two plate. 1 by 2 plate. And there'd be a lot of pickles to burn through. That would quickly get me to cancel it. If people actually sent me pickles, that would get me to cancel it. And I got a hype chest. A little late there for that. Surprised that came in so late. It looks like other people are getting theirs late as well. I think maybe Twitch is just drunk. I think that's what it is. Alright, 3L bar between a 1x1 plate brick with side stud. Now, I'm pretty sure that we want this to be 4 studs wide, so... There we go. Put that on there for the drawbridge. So I sadly do not have either of the castles that this is based on. Definitely would have liked to have gotten them. I thought that was supposed to, like, you set your thing and it's supposed to actually remember what it is. Does it, like, change up because you, gifted more subs or something? And thus it, like, Twitch thinks that you earned it again? Or again, maybe Twitch is just drunk. Actually, I think I know someone who works for Twitch. I could probably ask them about some of these things. Alright, so that goes right in there. There we go. It's a little drawbridge there. New Magic the Gathering set releases next Tuesday. Nice. Gifting subs adds it automatically, and then you have to remove it again manually? Ah, okay. Wait a second. I think I have done something wrong here. Oh, no, no. This is just turning it around. Okay. First LEGO set was 6041. Remind me the name of that one again. Like I said, I'm bad with the set numbers these days. Armor Shop. Oh, nice. I always wanted that one. I always wanted that one. So many LEGO sets? Yeah. And part of it is just, like, the amount of time since I have, like, actively been in conversations online about the sets using the set numbers. That's a big part of it. Had the Technic to connect to other sets in the line? Yes. Like this castle. Like, it could have fit in... Like, this is going to close back up here, and it could have fit along these walls. I had the Siege Tower, which might be 6040. I don't remember. Oops. Or was it 6066? Might be 6066. Like I said, bad at remembering the set numbers these days. But, yeah, the Siege Tower was really nice, I think. Although I think the armor shop actually is like set up so that it faces outward rather than inward. I think the Technic pins are reversed. I'd have to go back and look at that again. You wanted the Black Falcon's Fortress? So did I. I never did get that one. The first big castle set that I actually got was the King's Mountain Fortress, which is a really cute set. It has, so it's on one of those raised base plates, and it does have a single Technic connector point on the side so that you can stretch out a wall, and it could basically be at the end, which is a little silly, but, you know, I still loved it. Howdy, Lil Bunny, how's it going? Not those. Not that one. They had they did a re-release of the Black Falcon's Fortress, and I still didn't get that one. I kicked myself for that. I think it sold out real fast, and I missed it. Or I didn't have the money for it at the time or something. I don't remember. Like, I wouldn't use them these days for actual castle building, but I really do like the castle wall pieces. I think they're really neat, and they were a lot better than I think the modern parts that they use. The microphone's not picking up on the still like slightly off quality of my voice. It'll probably sound worse as the night goes on. I'm doing okay. The cold will run its course eventually. 3, 4, 8 weeks from now, something like that. I don't know. Alright, one thing that I do remember about this set is that it had a little jail cell in the back, and that's what that is representing. 52 weeks, long enough for the next cult to start. It's true. I mean, that is, like, basically the only time that I'm going to get a cold is during the holidays, because that is when family comes over. It's rather frustrating. This is not the flu, because I forgot to get my flu shot this year. Which is not to say that I can't still go get one, and I should. But that's like effort and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I can hear it in my head, you know. Okay, that's a lot of spare pieces. We might still be using this dagger, so I'm gonna keep it to the side here. But spare parts, 1x1 plate in green, 1x1 cylinder plates with hollow studs in red, white, and dark gray. 1x1 quarter cylinder tile in blue, white 1x1 tile slope, gray ice skate, 3L bars in dark gray and black, small feathers in red, white bison horn, and a dark gray friction half pin. Alright, bag number 2. Did some sketching? Nice. I mean, there are no Styracosauruses. How does the number of pieces compare to the full-size version? That is a good question. You know what? Oh no, I can't look here. I'm not logged in on the site that I like to use for that. I could use Bricklink. Let's do that. All right. Okay. Where is the... There's a catalog. Sets. Oh yeah, this one was just the Knight's Castle, rather than the King's Castle. Okay, so this was originally 6073. 390 pieces total. So this little set, now it does make 2 castles, but this little set has 590. I'd have to, like, individually count to see which parts were, like, how many of the parts go into this one, which is definitely not the majority. The other one is 6086, and that is a Black Knight's Castle. That'll be the second one that we make. And that one has 525 pieces. So, yeah. Like, all things considered, it's just a few fewer pieces in this than the original set. Which is pretty amusing. Pretty funny that the ratio is as close as it is, yeah. I mean, that's one of the interesting things, is like, sets these days have so many more pieces than stuff that came out years ago. Now, like, it is in part because LEGO is using so many more smaller, small pieces. But parts is parts. And they would have been using a lot of small pieces back then if it were economical and stuff. Wish you could have a trilobite as a pet. I don't know how good they'd be as pets. There we go. I mean, one of the reasons that you got such a big structure out of the set, the original set, is because it had those large wall elements. 1 by 5 by 6, I believe, basically panels. So they're pretty big. No worries. Welcome on in, Lord Canis. Hope you had fun deworming the cows. I'm just picturing it like you're a little bird pecking the worms off. And I know that's not the case, but I'm still going to picture it that way. Like, if I can't take things out of context, then what is the point? Oh, you know what? You know what? I bet, actually, you know what? I'm wrong. They were getting really, really into Dave Trampier's Wormy comic, weren't they? You had to take it away from them so they could go to bed. That's what it was, deworming them. It's true. True facts. Okay, and that goes right there. Yes, Lil Bunny, I admitted being wrong so that I could make a different joke. That is true. You're correct. I admit when I'm wrong. I made a different joke, yes. It was primarily a joke for me, but I am the most important audience, so, you know. Is this a 1-to-1 scale V'ger Lego set? No, a little bit small for that. One by one bricks for the crenellations. And one by one cylinder plates. Get that right on there. Okay. Let's see. Just the one, alright. 3x3 plate. So we can get our castle turret. Did that car ever leave? The car that I was complaining about in front of our house? Oh, yeah. Alright, more 1x1 cylinder plates in black. Almost finished with a Mystic Quest? Nice. You have best character Kaylee? Currently have 5 episodes left of my Xenogears Let's Play. Getting close to the end. Oops. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Phoebe. That's true. It's all unfortunate as well. I mean, Phoebe's great, but she's no Kaylee. You'd heard about Disc 2 pacing, but wow, it starts moving at Mach 10. Yeah. It's a little ridiculous. They had to really, really speed up the game, like production of the game. I mean, I think overall they did a fine job with getting what they wanted into the game, kind of thing. You had to rewind a few times to make sure you were getting everything. Yeah, Kaylee's the best. There we go. And then we get 2 sets of flags. Okay. So you can put it like this, set it out, or you can close it up. Into a little castle. I was talking about, remember the section that we were able to that we built of the 3-in-1 castle that folds up like this? Pretty sure it's about the same size. And oops, I just realized that I got that in the wrong place. There we go. So it does make for a very small castle, and there's no actual like bedroom for the knight or anything like that, but it's still pretty cool. And you have the drawbridge that will go up and down. All right, so spare parts: a black 2L bar with stop, gray 1x1 plate, black 1x1 cylinder plate, gray 1x1 cylinder plate with hollow stud, and gray 1x1 quarter cylinder tile. All right. Oh, hey, it does have. Awesome. Let's see. All right. So these are some of the original images. Go ahead and zoom in. So one of the things that you had with the classic boxes is like you'd have so you get the image here with the box itself, 6073. It has this really nice silhouetted, like with the sun setting and a silhouette. Pardon me. I really like that. But one thing that you got with these old sets as well is that you'd always have an alternative build, at least one alternative build, sometimes multiples, on the back of the box, as you get here with this gatehouse, essentially. And I think that's actually something that's missing today. I miss that, even though you don't get you don't get instructions for them. And I think one of the reasons why they stopped doing that is because people complained. They had them for the Star Wars sets back in like 99, 2000, 2001 kind of thing. May have been only like the first year. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at those boxes. And they stopped them, and I think it was because the licensor complained and said, you know, don't do this with our stuff, kind of thing. And I feel like that stopped it for everything. And it's a real shame. Because, like, you don't get instructions for this, but it's very much one of those things of, like, if you really work on it, you can build this. And I think that, like, not having this, like this was always inspiration for me. You know, I'd always be looking at these things and either try to build them myself or try to build something similar out of other parts so I can keep the original together. So I think it's an actual, like a real shame that they stopped doing that. But neither here nor there at this point. Let's go ahead and go to build number 2. Yeah, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why they stopped it, because like when they got the Star Wars license, that brought in a whole lot of people who were not already LEGO fans, and I think they may have complained as well that there weren't instructions for them. I don't know. Back when Episode 1 came out, there was this, like, Toys R Us opened at midnight with the, all the, like, the stock of, Star Wars Episode 1 sets, or, like, toys and stuff like that. So there was this big, it was like this big thing, and a lot of people lined up. I was like the, 4th person in line at my local Toys R Us. Everyone there was there for, like, a variety of Star Wars stuff. Like, they want, you know, some of them wanted Lego sets as well. But they were, you know, like, interested in the Kenner action figures and whatnot. I was there for Lego. I was the person there for Lego. And most of them were not. It was very amusing to me. You miss video game instructions? They had great art and lore, which you now have to get in an art book. Yeah. I will, like, some of that was also a necessary thing. Like, for a lot of games, you needed the instruction booklet to know how to, either how to play the game or what the heck was going on in the story. Which is not so much the issue these days. Alright, and let's get our flag there. There we go. Alright, our little horse is built. So this is one of the sets that was on a raised base plate. This one is 6086 Black Knight's Castle. Have I seen the game Tunic? You discover parts of the game manual as you play and it teaches you stuff. I have not. Can't say that I have heard of it. Three of those. Then we have a corner plate. Yeah, I'm actually, like, kind of at this point, I don't like tutorials anymore, and I don't like a game that needs tutorials, if that makes sense. Part of that is because I mostly play RPGs, and I kind of feel like at this point, like JRPGs especially, I kind of feel like you don't need to be doing anything special and new with RPGs, and if you are, I probably am not interested. The gameplay left a bit to be desired, but the whole thing felt like a puzzle, which was cool. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Partly I don't want to deal with, like, complex mechanics these days. Like, I just want to be able to menu and choose options. Everything is too action-oriented these days, I feel. You disliked Pokemon ZA hand-holding like that? Like, just give me the basics and updated catching rules, but you have played Pokemon enough to know how to play the game. Yeah, and definitely a game like Pokemon, where the elements are pretty basic and don't change too much from game to game. There's really little excuse to force you to go through a tutorial thing. And honestly, like, tutorials should always be skippable. Because, for one thing, you should be, like, even if it's rare, you should be programming with the assumption that people will replay your game. If you're making a game with the assumption that no one will replay your game, what's that say about your game? Got an ad break that's just about to start, but let's snooze that. You would appreciate at least the option of, I have played this game for 25 years, I understand Pokemon, yeah. I mean, even just a game in general. If you like, have played through game A already, and now it's a couple years later and you want to play through it again, you should not have to sit through the tutorials. Especially if you remember how to play the game. There's no reason for that. Ald claims to be a dragon, but you think he might be the Wolfman? I feel like that's a reference to something that I am missing. Like Wolfman Jack? It's the only Wolfman I know. And I don't know it very well. My hairy arms? They're not even that hairy. What the heck? Comparatively easy to program way to skip intro sequence? Yeah. Alright. Let's see. A black, a 1x1 tile slope. Yellow 1x1 quarter cylinder tile, red 1x1 plate, and a black bison horn. Alright, bag number 4. Oops. You guys got bumped off the edge there a little while ago. I mean, yeah, like Makoto, like, hand-holding is good for complex systems, but they should always be skippable. And, you know, I mean, like, also there should be a way to, like, go in and be like, okay, I've stepped away from the game for a month. I need to know how to do this thing again. Alright, let's get some tiles on here. So this is going to be the ramp. I think FF8 did it well, where tutorials were done correctly and had the option, if you need to redo the tutorial. Yeah. I'd have to go back. I think most of them were skippable and stuff, too. No, they weren't. I remember getting annoyed at some of them. Now that I think about it. Oh. Okay, on the back. That is there. You were going to open the stream asking if I even remembered how to Lego after so long? I don't think it's even been a month. It's only been like 3 weeks. A longer break earlier last year. Alright, turn this around, get our 2x2 corner brick there. Not wrong, but people will skip the tutorials and then complain that the game doesn't explain things. Well, yes, and I totally understand that, which is also why the tutorials should always be accessible. Like, you should always be able to go back, like go into a menu and say, give me that tutorial again. Will people complain about the game not explaining things in that case still? Sure, absolutely. But at the same time, there's only, there's only so much you can do with stupidity. Yeah, that's on the people skipping them, exactly. I definitely remember in 8, now that it's popped into my head again, a tutorial about something that I had already done, because I knew the game already. And was just like, oh, come on. I've already done this game. That would be another thing. Like, a way to dynamically tell if you've already done a thing, and if you've already done a thing, then do not give the tutorial again. Or do not give the tutorial. Well, I mean, again, if a streamer or YouTuber skips it and complains about the game not explaining something, then all of the viewers have the right to be like, the game explained this. I'm pretty sure that has happened to me, not for skipping something, but just for forgetting something. Like, I typically play a game once a week. Like, that is my recording session. It's surprisingly easy to forget things of a game after a week away. Games with long intro sequences where you're expected to do something once, but won't need this mechanic for several hours after the tutorial. That's bad. That is also bad. You need the tutorials to be closely spaced to the thing that you're going to do. Games should also have an option to recap the story. Yeah, I'm especially appreciative of Eiyuden Chronicle for that. Like, it has a really nice way of like seeing where you are in the story and seeing what's happened before. They do a really good job with that. Like, overall, I'd say that the game is good, as opposed to, like, great. You know, not a dig on them at all. But that is definitely one of the great things. Let's see. Okay, that's going right there. There we go. I mean, when a game is a selection of for retro, not a rogue AI, I don't exactly have the option of reading a manual. And with the rise of renting in the US, manuals were, again, not always something that you'd have access to. You liked Iodine, but it feels like they tried to cram too much side stuff into it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I will give it this. The side stuff is not as aggravating to me as Blitzball. None of it takes so long. Kind of thing. So I will grant it that. I just really want an option to, like, do the Blitzball automated. Like just have the game play it. It's doing that for the other teams. Just say, like, you know, all right, here's my team, set them against them, and tell me the results. Sometimes the manual was too complicated for young players to understand, or the translation was confusing. Yeah, there's that too. That's just a consequence of the Kickstarter and the stretch goals. Yeah. I get that. You're surprised how little of FF10 that you remember? I remember quite a bit. It's actually the mechanics that I remember the least, I feel like. I've only watched one. I mean, of course, I played the game myself, too. I haven't played the international version, though. I just want the rewards of Blitzball without having to go through all of the rigmarole of Blitzball. You don't remember Donna or Seymour? You don't remember Seymour? I don't want you to take this the wrong way at all, and I like cannot fathom that. He feels like he should be like the main villain almost. You really don't? Wow, all right. I'm not saying that as a dig or anything like that. I'm just genuinely surprised. You just want things handed to you for free? No, I want to not have to spend an ungodly amount of time at doing it all. Playing a minigame that I do not find fun, that is gonna require many hours. Alright, so, spare parts. Dark gray 1x2 half-cylinder tile, 1x1 round end tile. Gray 1x1 cylinder tile, gray 1x1 tile slope, and gray 1x1 cylinder plate with bar. Alright, bag number 5. Do have an ad just about to start. I mean, the most important character, of course. The most important character, of course, is the Hypello who says, "Ride the Shoopluff." At least card game in 8 was useful for curb stomping the game. Blitzball is useful for one ultimate weapon. It's useful for some other things. You can get some good spheres through it. And other items. Like, you can get rare items through it, which is kind of... I mean, it's more than kind of. It's pretty valuable. The Hypello got a Magic the Gathering card. That's kind of awesome, actually. I approve. Alright, so that goes on right there. It's an enchantment, you believe, and the name is literally called I Want to Ride the Shoopluff. It should have been Ride Z Shoopluff. Should have gotten it correct. Ride Z Shoopluff? Impossible. Still weird hearing me pronounce his name Oran rather than Oren or Oren. There's a reason for that. Because if I pronounce it differently in a way that would be natural for me, then I would be saying my father's name. Right, and that goes right on there. So the raised base plate had this this hole in it, and partly it's so that you don't have this vast expanse of raised section without anything holding it up. With the drop down section, you don't have like. You've got narrow areas to the sides. It's not enough to, like, for a little kid to be pushing down and actually accidentally break through it. And it gives you some opportunities to do some interesting little things in there. But the main thing is preventing someone from breaking the part. I have some very interesting raised base plates. I should bring one of them out one of these days. They had some neat space base plates back then. The crater plates. The crater plates were fantastic. The Blacktron message intercept base and the ice station, or the ice planet set, both had this kind of raised base plate. Oh, the Spirius set did as well. But sadly, like, they honestly, I think they should still be making crater plates. The crater plates are fantastic. They're beautiful. Everything is better with crater plates. I actually have some crater plates from the Aqua Zone. Like, the last crater plates they made were for Aqua Zone. The underwater sets. They actually changed up the mold for it for that one-time use as well. Which is kind of weird. Oh, and then, of course, they had the road plates, the space road plates. Only they had the round intersection with a round so that each of the four corners was like this kind of thing, and a T intersection plate. Can you build castles on crater plates? Sure. They're not going to look very castle-y. They're very, very, very specifically space. They don't even quite work for the underwater stuff, honestly. So the crater plate is a 32 by 32 base plate with a kind of a curved L-shaped mound of, you know, like moon dust with 2 craters in it. Plenty of space to build on them. But yeah, I mean, like, unless you cover up the crater, it's going to look weird with a castle, unless you're trying specifically for a space castle. Found the card. Been posted on the Discord. Alright, I'll take a look after the stream. Get that bracket right there. I mean, I could link to the Bricklink page for the crater plate, so you can take a look at it after the stream. Like, it would very much feel like you're on the moon. The name is Ride the Shoepuff. They did do it correctly in his voice in the lore bit. Well, that's something at least. Howdy, Shield of Hope. How's it going? I mean, there was a Lego idea book that had at the very end, it had some ideas of merging castle and space together. And that probably does have some crater plates in it, I imagine. I'd have to go look. Did it have a giant robot lions to go with the space castles? No. It did use, so this is a 1x2 Technic brick with 2 holes. It had a 1x2 Technic brick with 1 hole. On the neck piece for a minifig for a head. For like an alien. Funnily enough, the Ride the Shoopuf can become a creature, but you need to spend 7 mana for that and it becomes a 7/7 creature. Wow. I assume a Shoopuf token. There we go, and on the sides. There we go. Alright, so that is it for that bag. We got a black 1x1 cylinder tile, black 1x1 peak slope, and a gray 1x1 tile. Alright, bag number 6. Well, it sounds like the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy set did a really good job of getting other people to buy Magic cards, so which is kind of the point of a lot of those crossover things. So I know quite a few people who do not ordinarily buy Magic cards who bought some sets. There's a 1x1 cone. I don't know how obvious it is, but let me go ahead and zoom in here. Do you see that color difference? This is a little bit duller than this. Like this piece here is a little bit brighter. It's because this is glow in the dark. Kind of hard to see. But that is a glow-in-the-dark piece. It was the highest grossing set they had, wow. Alright, let's get that right on there. double stack of these right there. $200 million in a day. That is pretty impressive. It's definitely impressive. I contributed not at all to that. Alright, there we go. Get that in there. Made more than the Lord of the Rings set? I'm not surprised. Not a rogue AI, Parthenogenesis, obviously. Okay, then on this side. Not a rogue AI. Life will find a way. There we go. Get that on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the drawbridge for this one. There we go. Okay, and then we get the glow-in-the-dark cone there for the ghosty. The ghosty in the tower. Winter weather advisory until 1 p.m. tomorrow. 1 to 3 inches of rain and snow. We indeed. I want some. I get no winter weather advisory. I'm sad. Okay, and there's a car door here. Block him in. It's true, the weather does not like me. It's true. It's very rude. The weather is mean. I may have to not like it right back. Not a real castle without a proper haunting? Exactly. I'm glad they brought the ghosty back. I hope that they do more with the ghost. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get more of those sets to have more ghosts. Because you can never have enough ghosts, right? Of course, I will have a shorty. I'll have a one tall ghost among a whole bunch of shorty ghosts. Because he's one plate taller than the others. I don't know why they did that. Well, okay. I imagine that they probably did that to make him fit into some space. That's probably why, but I don't know for sure. Oops. There we go. We got a little door here so we can see the ghosty. Alright, let's see. Okay, so that's there, 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 and there. That's an interesting way of doing it. It's amusing that of all the themes, it's the castles which include ghosts. Why? Castles are a favorite location for stories of hauntings. I don't think they ever did a ghost in Pirate. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense for it either. Never did one in Town, and obviously not Space. Okay, there's one tower turret and another tower turret. I think you've read of more haunted manors and castles. Well, there aren't really exactly a whole lot of manors in the castle line. So there's a little postern gate. And a gray 1x1 tile with round end as our spare part. And finally, bag number 7. I did not realize that this would take me an hour and a half to build this, honestly. I might have saved this for another time if so. Thought it'd be fairly quick, even though it had a lot of pieces. Alright, we got our 1x4 groove bricks. There we go. It's true, but it wouldn't make, it wouldn't alter the amount of time by a huge amount. So we've got our portcullis there. Anything else? No. Alright, there's the other angled slope there for our actual gate. I mean, the only zombies that they've really done are, I think the Monster Fighter sets may have had some. I don't remember those well enough. But also, like, zombies from minifig sets. And they haven't had a whole lot of those, so, like, what, 2, I think? So they haven't done, like, a zombie outbreak line, and I honestly don't think that they would. I suppose they might have done a zombie police officer. I might be, like, forgetting one. There's a zombie cheerleader and a zombie businessman. That's what I remember specifically. There was I think there's a zombie guy. Resident Evil would make a great Lego collab. I somehow don't think it would, actually. Hold on, where are we going with this? It is going there, alright. Imagine the lobby of the police station in Lego. Oh. Okay, I do need to pull this off, dang it. You had to throw a piece at me on the underside after all of this. Lego Parasite Eve. First official Lego sperm donor clinic. I think you've seen a bit of Magic the Gathering talk on Blue Sky about Magic the Gathering Lego collab. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but I have no idea what they would do. You know? Like, what would you even do? Oh, wanting one. But even so, like what would you do? What kind of cards would you have? I'm going to lay down my 2x4 brick, which is a 2/4 creature that can't attack, I guess. Or something. Like, you know? Wouldn't that be a Lego Bowl-S set, Kinshir? Oh, do you mean, Bahamut, people talking about wanting Magic the Gathering Lego sets? Or Lego-themed Magic the Gathering cards? That's what I'm... Because, yeah, no, I mean, I can think of things that they could do for Lego sets. But I don't know what they would do for actual cards. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen more rumors about stuff with between Lego and Wizards of the Coast. I really thought that there would be more to their collab besides the one minifig set and the one Lego set. Well, really 2 Lego sets. Get a flag there. Secret Lairs with alt art of Planeswalker. Oh, okay, so it would be like Urza, and the artwork would be a minifig of Urza. Or whatever. I guess I can see that. That's a large flag there. All right, spare parts. 1x1 tiles with round ends in blue and red. 1x1 cylinder tile with top peg in blue. Half pin in gray. And, of course, we never did use the second dagger. So there we go. We have our little Black Knight's castle and our little regular Knight's castle. I think the size comparisons are probably pretty accurate. So you can tell that this one would have been a lot larger than this one. But they're very cute. They're very, very cute. See if I can get him in here. As if he's riding out. There we go. The knight is a little large for it, honestly. Alright. So now that that's done, let's actually start the main event. The main attraction. Actually, before we do that. We don't actually get to see the alternate models here. Interesting. So you can see the box there, and the image even has the flip lid, because that was one thing that they were doing at that time, is the flip lids, which were I always liked. I always liked the flip lids. You get the procession of knights out front and soldiers. And then the actual image used for the catalogs and stuff. It did include a Wolfpack guy as a prisoner. And, of course, the Ghosty. Alright. Let's go ahead and dive into Notre Dame de Paris. Alright, Notre Dame de Paris. It's hard to imagine Paris without the majestic Notre Dame Cathedral. Over the centuries, the spectacular landmark has weathered the elements, revolution, and devastating destruction, and remains one of the most popular tourist attractions in Paris. When you see it in all its seemingly gravity-defying splendor, you may wonder how architects, masons, and builders created such a monument, starting nearly 900 years ago, with construction going on for centuries. Inspired and awed by the ingenious techniques employed by these craftsmen, we set out to translate this magnificent construction and its intricate details into a Lego model. These instructions will guide you through the building process, with each brick carefully placed to correspond with a specific architectural element in the original cathedral. With every bag you complete, you will see a model of a specific point in time in the construction of the cathedral from 1163 to today. Our Lady of Paris. Got a minigun a horde. Wow. Let's see, 1163 to 1182. The east side of the cathedral was completed first and served as a functioning church while construction continued on the rest of the cathedral. Alright. Of course, another brick separator. Alright, let's go ahead and separate out the large plates that we are getting lots of. I have been to Notre Dame. Oop. And of course the Eiffel Tower, because I've been to Paris. Went when I was 12 or so, I think, give or take. It's part of a European trip that I was on with my family. We went to Norway to visit some family. Then we went to Denmark so that I could go to Billund and Legoland Park. Oops. Then we took a train through Germany and into France. So I have technically been to Germany. Technically. Then after France, really Paris. We went to England. I had like 6 weeks. The whole trip was like 6 weeks. Pretty great. I don't know if I went up to the tower. Did go into the Eiffel Tower. Went to the Louvre. Probably went to Versailles, but I don't remember if so. I'm sure I saw other things in Paris as well, but it has been a little while, and I do not remember all of the details. 3 encounters within 3 steps? Nice. Oh, you meant the Eiffel Tower? I definitely didn't have a problem with the Eiffel Tower. Maybe one day I will be able to afford to go to other places in Europe that I have not been, like Rome, and Greece. Florence is pretty. I'm sure it is. I would probably want to go with someone just because it would make it cheaper. Splitting costs of, like, hotel rooms and stuff. That's what made that's what made Jordan and Egypt doable. Many places to go if you ever make it to Europe, yeah. I'd like to go to Turkey as well, and Cyprus. And Germany and Austria as well. Like, I haven't, like, I've technically been to Germany, but only technically. I have been through Germany. And I'd like to go back to England and France. Go to places in France that I didn't go to before. That sort of thing. Sadly, I kind of doubt I will have the money anytime soon. There we go. Alright, so we got good support on the inside. We get our edging here. There we go. One by one quarter cylinder tiles in the corners. Why is Mount Ordeal so full of zombies? Probably because so many people died trying to take the test. It's really all my city's fault. Oops. This is off-center. It'll be interesting to see what this ends up looking like. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The plans for the Notre Dame Cathedral are ready. Construction begins and Pope Alexander III oversees the first stone being set in place. 1163. Get some more center studs there. Corner tile, 2 beige 1x3 tiles. Alright, and some 1x1 plates. There we go. Alright, on the other side, get a little bit of greenery. Go back a little bit. I want to see the picture real fast. Yeah, it is just going to be off-center. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why they made it off-center. I guess I figure that you'll either display it, you'll be more likely to display it sideways, I guess. I don't know. Alright, 2 of these. And a 1x2. And flip the corner slopes. They definitely could math it out correctly. They chose not to. And obviously they wanted the green. There's going to be trees on these. I just don't know exactly why. And I'm curious about that. Like, more along the lines of why they didn't do it on both sides. Okay, spare parts. That is a tan 1x1 plate and a gray 1x1 quarter cylinder tile. Bag number 2. Lots of triangle tiles. Alright. 1x2 panel back here. Some 1x3 tiles. One right there. One right there. And then one on either side of these. There we go. 4 1x1 cylinder tiles with top pegs. There we go. Okay, and then we get some triangle tiling. Here, making some diamond shapes. So with this being in use before it was finished, with it just like the back section open, I wonder if they if it was just like open to open air, or if they closed it up with like wood. I don't actually know. But now I'm curious. And there we go. There's the black ones, and now for the white ones. There we go. Now 3 more. They probably covered it. Who wants to get rained on for 2 centuries waiting for the Masons to build your church? I'm pretty sure that they have the roof on the back part. It's the front part that I'm wondering about. There we go. Alright, 20 of these guys. It's a different cathedral with the labyrinth. There we go. Okay. So now we do some tiling with these. Let's get that there. There we go. Alright, now we use the 1x2 ones to simulate the rest. Okay, that one goes there. Okay. Alright, doesn't look like there's any other... Oh, no. There's a few other black ones that I need. That one. And that one. Alright. Now for the white tiles... It's kind of a shame that we've got these very obvious holes right there. Not that there's much that you can do about that, but... like the very obvious holes in the pattern. Ooh! It's, Pole's voice. From Zelda. Alright, there we go. So 4 Pole's voices. Alright, spare parts. 1 beige 1x1 cylinder tile with top peg. Now, bag number 3. Man, with all this beige that I've got, plus the Coliseum. I'm gonna have to make, like, Crack de Chevalier or something at some point. Alright, we got an ad break about to start. Let's go ahead and snooze that for a little bit. There we go. Alright, 3 of these. There we go. And that is fully on there. Okay. Why was there no Hypello Maester? Maester seems to be primarily a human thing. Here, let's see. Basically, we're making a second one of these. There's a 2x3. Alright, 1x1 tiles with center studs. I mean, how many Hypello are there even in the game? Like, there's just a handful of them. Okay, there we go. We got a nice curve back there. Sexy, sexy curve. Like, I've always kind of felt that there really just are not enough of the other races around to give you much of a feel for them. Like, what do the Hypello do other than ride the Shoepuff? And there's one in FF 10-2, Final Fantasy 10-2, in your airship, I think. I might be thinking of one in Final Fantasy 10, but I think it's in 10-2. Got a reflex hammer to see if people have messed up zombie reflexes. But what if my reflexes are just bad, Lord Canis? Have you thought about that? That's right, yeah, he's a shopkeeper on 10 in 10-2. You gotta liquidate me. I don't want to be liquid. Liquid. Alright, there we go. It's a nice curve there. 1163. Elements of the floor plan are determined by a series of circles created with the help of ropes of different lengths, attached to a stake at the center of the cathedral. Alright. Get a window right there. One by 3 with 2 center studs on either side. (1163 to 1170). The chevet is constructed with piers set in a centrifugal arrangement. All right, 6 windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 1x1 bricks. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and get all these windows set in. There we go. All right. That is going to be a lot. Oh, these are trans black. Kind of hard to see otherwise. So 14 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. You see the timeline for building this, and we see why pharaohs needed to start building their pyramids early in their reigns. Yeah, but one difference is that I think that there were a lot of breaks for funding issues with Notre Dame in particular. most of the pyramids didn't have funding breaks. But then again, they also stopped building pyramids after a while because they were so expensive. And it was pretty much like a siren, like, rob me, rob me, rob me. Like, they were all robbed not too long after they were built, really. That's why they started building in the Valley of the Kings. Double stack of clear 1x1s and a 1x2 clear. Fantasy still needs more pyramids and ziggurats. The problem is that they're so very much associated with Egypt. Like, if you have a castle, you're associating that with medieval Europe as opposed to any particular European country. You know, it could be Russia, it could be Spain, it could be Italy, it could be England, it could be France, it could be Germany. Or it could be just generic medieval fantasy. You know, medieval European fantasy. You do a pyramid in fantasy fiction, and you got Egypt. So it's one of those things of like, it's so associated with one culture that you can't do it without invoking that one specific culture. So you see, like, people complaining that places in the Forgotten Realms are too closely tied to specific cultural areas, and it's like, you know, that's the kind of thing that happens. You can't really get away with that if get away from that if you have pyramids. Unless you make pyramids, but also anachronistic other things. And then it kind of feels a little bit schizophrenic, like. Feels like it doesn't exactly fit. I mean, I don't have a problem personally with evoking, like a fantasy Egypt. But if you're specifically trying to avoid invoking specific cultures, what are you going to do? Party finds a giant pyramid of black stone on the tundra. Well, I mean, if you're going for, like, just a generic pyramid, sure. I mean, there's a generic pyramid in Pool of Radiance. It's definitely not invoking Egypt. But at the same time, like, it feels a little bit weird for it to not be Egyptian. And certainly there are ways to evoke Egypt without evoking too much Egypt. But it's still a delicate balance. There we go. We got our all of our windows. All right, now we need 13, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And of course, the pyramid in Pool of Radiance is on a river called Stojano, which, you know, evokes Russia. Some people, at some point, people are just going to default to familiar things, so how hard should it be to try... so how hard should you try it to or not to evoke those things? Well... So it depends on how much you want people to default to those, and how much you want to stress, like, something being different. Like, people love to claim that the Elven Imperial Navy in Spelljammer is just, you know, like, the British Empire. And, like, there's elements of similarity, and you can draw on that. But you shouldn't go overboard. Like, there's a difference between evoking something and this is just fantasy blah blah blah, you know? Like, you can evoke fantasy France without it being fantasy France. But at the same time, if you want it to be Fantasy France, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go ahead and do that. So it really depends on what you want. I mean, I think a lot of people in the Anglophone world will tend to default to, you know, Fantasy England. Sometimes for setting ideas, you just say F it and call things generic fantasy like elves or dwarves because, you know, people would be like, yeah, those are just elves. Right. You're listening to a video talking about sci-fi and fantasy being similar-ish? Yes. Like, there's a reason why... Like, it's speculative fiction. That's why it gets lumped together like sci-fi fantasy as a single group or speculative fiction. Because both of them can be ways to, like, study human interaction without the baggage of the real world. Sci-fi, I think, especially works that way. There we go. Alright, now we get the tan hinges. And we are centering these. And then right there on the end is a 1x2. 1x2 on the far end here. And then beige hinges. Sci-fi people are more accepting of fantasy elements than the people in fantasy accepting of sci-fi elements. Well, so yeah, because I feel like if you're putting sci-fi elements into fantasy, then what you're making is sci-fi. Like, if you're going to have the distinction, then there shouldn't be fantasy elements in sci-fi. But to a certain extent, all science fiction elements are fantasy. You know? Fantasy, the supergenre, is fantasy with past aesthetics, and science fiction is fantasy with future aesthetics. That's a good way of describing it, yeah. Exactly. Like, I personally don't like science fiction elements in my medieval fantasy. Because it's medieval fantasy. There shouldn't be science fiction elements in it. And that's the thing, that's why. Because if you have future aesthetics within past aesthetics, then it's no longer past aesthetics. Although there is still an element of, like, how far in the past are you talking about? Fantasy is when Karl Urban has long hair, sci-fi is when Karl Urban has short hair. You probably find some other people who that works for, too. Some other actors. I need to rewatch Xena one of these days, and so I can catch those actors who later came to prominence in movies. But who had early roles in those. I do like watching old stuff, you know, old TV shows like that. Alright, there we go. Nice, nice smooth curve there. It's really nice. Good way to do a curved tower on a castle if you want. Spare parts, clear 1x1 plate, and a dark gray 1x1 cylinder tile. Mentally double checking if Carl has long hair in any future settings. Alright, oh, 4 and 5, huh? Alright. You wait for the flying buttresses. He said buttress. Alright. So, 6 shorty bricks. Oh, and we also do 13 of the 1x2s, but specifically 13 shorty bricks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. I will say that the exception to the rule, and it's not a universal exception, but the exception to the rule of when is it acceptable to have sci-fi elements in fantasy is when the sci-fi elements are, you know, the ancient advanced culture kind of thing. And I don't like it all the time. But if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like an FF1? Yeah. FF1 doesn't do it as well as, say, like Secret of Mana, you get that. What else? FF10 has it to an extent. Yeah. I don't know, I'm blanking on other things right now. Just wave your hands and mutter something about Arthur C. Clarke. I've never actually read any Arthur C. Clarke. Kind of surprised that they didn't tile up back here. What, the sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic? I mean, you can say that about everything. You shouldn't hate the quote for it. And it's pretty common for quotes like that to be reduced to I don't know, infantilism kind of thing. Well, but they don't become the same thing, though. It's just that if you can't understand the technology involved, it does seem like magic. But there is still an actual difference. The urge to make magic systems with rigorously defined rules makes the magic into science. It could. And Plastic Alan bringing us a raid. How's it going? Let me get you a shout out there. Gotta pull my keyboard out for that. Howdy, Lethal. What were you up to today? We are working on the Notre Dame Cathedral. And talking about science fiction and fantasy. Mega Man 10 1-3 randomizer mod. Ah, nice. Need me to build your Lego Game Boy you got for the holidays? You lack the decks. I do have that set. That is going to be a build one of these days. I have the Nintendo as well. I'm going to make like not a double stream out of it per se, because the Nintendo will take more than a stream, but yeah, I'm going to build them together. I also have the Sega controller that was either a gift with purchase or a insider reward. I can't remember which. So we'll be doing that as well. Okay, another trans black. 1x1 brick. So, and I would, like, Kinshir, I would disagree with the rigorously defined rules for magic, making it science, because if it, like, violates the laws of physics, as opposed to figuring out ways to work around it. Like the warp drive figures out ways to work around physics, as opposed to violating physics. Of course, other, technology in Star Trek violates laws of physics too. But an elegant portal that offers direct access to the choir takes its name from the color of the portal's door panes. The Porte Rouge. It was renovated around 1270. It's a nice red door there. That goes right there. There you go. Nice red door. I would say that, like, systematizing RPG, like, magic, if you're doing it in a book, I think that you're RPG-ifying it too much. Like, you don't need that for a novel. So if it, like, plainly violates physics and there's no, like, we have advanced technology that ignores this kind of thing, then it's magic. If it's saying, if it's an element of, like, we're following the rules of physics, but, we don't actually know, like, if we actually knew how to do this, then we'd have the technology now. Transporters are magic. Well, but see, again, they're... You can't actually write about technology that we don't have without an element of hand-waving. Because again, like I said, if we knew how to do something within physics, then we would already have that technology. And then it would be and then you'd be writing science fact rather than science fiction. So if it just straight up violates physics and there's no kind of like nod to an explanation for why it does so, then that's magic. And yeah, there are some things that call something magic, but if you really dig down into the game, into the game or story, then it's actually science. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about things that actually, like, full-on violate the laws of physics. And there's no attempt at explaining that away. So transporters, the transporter technology in Star Trek, like teleporters, like that's different. Transporters in Star Trek are a specific thing. They basically disintegrate you and reassemble you at your destination. Basically, they disintegrate you into energy. They turn all of your matter into energy, send that energy somewhere else, turn that energy back into matter, and there you are. That's why, like, if you really think about that, that's extremely horrible. But that's what they're doing. And there is, like, is that a science that's probably possible? Not really. But at least you can kind of understand how it works within caveat that this is probably not possible. They kill you, then make a clone in a more convenient place. Yes, that's basically what they are doing. And the show just hand waves that away, because there are a few people who refuse to be transported. There are also situations where people do die from the transporter. They get transporter accidents and stuff. But it's it's very much one of those things where if you actually sit down and think about it, it's pretty horrible, and you should really not worry about it. It's like, repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. The energy to a mass thermal issue is hand-wavy too. Yeah, I mean, but that's the nature of science fiction. Because again, like, if we knew how to do all these things, then we would have that science. And basically, in science fiction is a certain element of, they have solved this problem that we haven't solved yet. Moving on. That's what makes it science fiction as opposed to fantasy. All right, let's see. Now, some half arches. But fantasy makes no, like, attempt at saying, we've solved these problems that we can't solve. Fantasy is just simply saying, those problems don't matter. I am surprised that we are getting an extra candlestick. Also, 1x1 cylinder plate as extra pieces. These are all the same height. Yep. So, no idea there. Wolfon subscribing for 5 months. Thank you very much. No wonder Geralt of Rivia hates portals. Also, here's some cash my way. Thank you very much. And 100 bits for a Lego stream. Nice. You don't remember if they ever consider the relativistic effects of warp drive? So, the inertial dampeners... I think my understanding is that the idea behind the inertial dampeners, they change the inertia so you can walk around on these ships without the inertia of the ship moving at light speed plus, beyond light speed, affects you. And I think the idea is also that they eliminate the relativistic issues of light speed. Because the ship is moving faster than light. Like, the bubble is, but the ship itself isn't. I believe that's the idea behind the inertial dampeners. And again, it's like, this is a hand wave thing of they've solved these problems that we don't know how to solve yet. Are we ever likely to solve them? Maybe not. That doesn't matter. That is beside the point. Project Hail Mary, I have not. I don't actually read a whole lot of science fiction. I'm not a big fan of written science fiction. It's weird. Like, I can't get into that. But I love science fiction shows. I think part of it is like my mental imagery. I can do fantasy, but I can't do science fiction kind of thing. It's weird, but it's kind of how it is. There we go, get that there. I much prefer reading fantasy to science fiction. Like, science fiction that is essentially present-day science fiction, that I don't have too much of an issue with. But the future science fiction, that's where my mental imagery starts failing, kind of thing. There we go. No, yeah, Scotty was put into the transport buffer with someone else, one of the other members of his crew, on his ship that crashed onto the Dyson sphere. And they got him, so he didn't age at all. Because, like, he wasn't alive. The energy was basically just stored in the batteries, and the computer was able to store the data. The reason, like, one of the things behind the transporter, the reason why they can't use that to just like actually send people, like, because obviously, like, if you have the ability to completely disassemble a human being, you would think that there would be other uses besides transportation that you could do with it. And what they've done is, one of the things that they do is they say that the ship's computers can't handle that much data for a long period of time. And 1,000 bits for a booster for the rocket. Thank you very much, Anghamran. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, he tricked the computer into keeping them in the storage buffer. Which, of course, raises all kinds of other questions, but, again, neither here nor there. And, of course, you had the Will Riker getting duplicated thing as well. Which you would think someone would be able to use to clone people. But again, like, a lot of these things are very much elements of needing to hand-wave the things to, where does this go? Yeah, right there. To solve a story element for a given episode kind of thing. And unless the show needed to address something, they oftentimes don't. I believe there was another episode where there was a transporter issue. Was this on Deep Space Nine? I think it was on Deep Space Nine. There was a transporter error, and they had to store everyone's data in the in Quark's hologram buffer, holodeck buffer. Because again, there was just an issue of too much data. Which of course raises a question of, like, if the Holomatrix has enough data, why don't they just, like, not have that and have more computer storage for other things? And thank you very much for those bits. You'd love the Star Trek replicators today? So would I, yeah. Just be able to get Earl Grey tea hot whenever you wanted. It'd be awesome. There we go. Well, there's never too much data. There we go. There's that. I remember the very first hard drive my family got, or my father got, really, for the when he got his 386 SX. It had a 60 meg hard drive that we disk doubled to get 120. And man, felt like so much. And then it didn't. And then my father got a 500 meg hard drive on his next computer, and we were like, man, we'll never fill this up. Oh, how innocent we were. How innocent we were. Well, sometimes you just want a, like... There's definitely an element of, like, just repeat to yourself it's just a show. You really should just relax, kind of thing. You know, the MST3K mantra. Enjoy the show for what it is. Don't overthink it too much. When a dirt cheap thumb drive can hold every game released to the NES, SNES, Genesis, yeah. Yeah. Not to mention pre-CD-ROM DOS games. Every pre-CD-ROM DOS game. There we go. What is that frog pondering? It's a good question. Howdy, Area High One. How's it going? Alright, there we go. Okay. Beige 1x1. To a trans black 1x1 bricks. You once bought an Elder Scrolls collection where all games came on their own DVDs, even Arena. It's like 16 megs of data on it. I got a CD with Ultimas 1 through 6 on it. Pretty sure there was very little actual data on that one. So I got that collection, and around that time, my father got at his work the first Pentium 200 PC that we had access to. And since I'd played Ultima 2 on my computer, because I got his 386 by that point. It had a turbo button that would take it from 8 megahertz to 16 megahertz. And the game was really fast at 16 megahertz. So I was like, hey, Dad, can I come into your work one day? I want to try this game out on your work computer that's 200 megahertz. He's like, sure. So I did. The character was dead in the blink of an eye. Oh, it was beautiful. I laughed so much. Too fast? Oh, yes. So Ultima 6, the thing about Ultima 6 is that it is turn-based, but if you let the game sit, it'll pass a turn. And it's based on the clock cycle. So it just, like, and I imagine it's based on, like, one tick per clock tick or whatever. So on a 1 megahertz computer or a 2 megahertz computer, it's not going to go very fast at all. But even on a 16 megahertz, it goes really fast, really hard to play. It was definitely playable at 8 megahertz, but it was very obviously still fast. But you get to a 200 megahertz, and it's just like instant death. It was beautiful. You can simulate that in DOSBox by just upping the clock cycles on DOSBox. There we go. Alright, 7 half arches. $16 megahertz to 3 to 5 gigahertz today. Yeah, but like you wouldn't even be able to actually play it on a modern computer anyway. Like the architecture is just too different. So you'd have to use DOSBox anyway, which very much controls the clock speed. Alright, let's get 2 of these, and more of the corner half arches. It's like DOSBox is meant for games to be played on correct speeds or something. I know, right? Although I do find it annoying to try and get the correct clock speed. I do really like these corner half arches. They're really nice. I don't agree, Bahamut. They don't need a remaster. And there's definitely some games that it's just not worth remastering them at all. There is, like, DOSBox works just fine for anything older than the late 90s. The problem is anything designed for, like, Windows 95 and Windows 98... those are the games that are the problem. They're the ones that need actual, like, real work done to get them playable. Like, I had a heck of a time getting, admittedly, like, there's also a difference between playable and recordable. I had a heck of a time getting, some games recordable when they were playable. It was the play it and record it that was the issue for me. Wizardry 8 and Arcanum are 2 of the games that were the biggest, that I had the biggest trouble with. Okay. Let's get that peak slope there. Peak slope there. Watching my Ultima playthrough years ago is how you discovered my channel? Well, thank you. Well, which Ultima? I have played most of them at this point. Or was it actually Ultima 1? I still need to do 2 and 3 one of these days. Need to decide how I want to play them. I think it was 4. Ah, the one with the terrible sound effects. No, Alda's just not a masochist. That's the difference. I do not like pain. I do not like suffering. The era of late 90s, early aughts games where you can sort of get the resolution to change, but the UI stays unchanged and thus is very, very small. Or, it wants to full screen and it messes up all of your desktop settings and everything. Alright, spare parts. We got a beige pyramid, a beige 1x1 peak slope, dark gray 1x1 tile slope, beige 1x1 tile, and tan 1x1 cylinder tile with hollow stud. There we go. Alright. I will say that a modern machine with Total Annihilation, yeah, like, I have played that on a, on a standard 1080p screen, and everything is super duper tiny, but it plays just fine. But you can also get so many more units in the game without it slowing down now. It's great. Alright, so here is the rear of the cathedral so far. Here we can take a look on in the interior. I do like the tiling. It's pretty nice. But I think that is going to be how much we're going to get done tonight. Let's go ahead and do some minifigs now, though. But before we do minifigs, I did, unfortunately, not finish the advent calendar, so that's what we're going to be doing to start with. You can win most skirmishes without ever reaching the 500 unit cap? Well, yeah, but I mean, don't you want to hit the cap? Isn't it more fun that way? I don't even remember where we stopped. Was it, let's see, there's 16... Okay. So we stop on 17. Alright, so we got a skeleton archer right here. Easiest with Metal World if you want massive armies. Oh, yeah. I had so much fun with that. I love the brawler swarms. Okay, the skeleton is actually gray, and I don't know if that's a thing. This is my first gray skeleton pieces, which actually, I do have a gray minifig head with a skull print from, I think, one of the Wednesday sets. So I can now make a gray skeleton entirely. That's pretty cool. Then we have the Minecraft armor there. Get the head on and the Minecraft bow. And I'm not sure what the container with the white is supposed to be. There are now so many skeleton and zombie variants in Minecraft? Huh. Remember the expansion pack for TA that had the Krogoth? Oh, yeah. So, okay, fun story that you may not have heard. I've definitely told it a few times before, but the expansion for that, a friend of mine found a leaked download of the full expansion, separated onto like 52 floppy disk-sized zip files that we downloaded like a couple days before the expansion pack came out. Yeah, Core Contingency, that's it. And so we were playing it like 2 days before it came out. We did both go out and buy it afterwards. We were always planning on doing that. It was just like that awesome feeling of being able to play it early was really nice. All right, so we've got a gray skeleton. I don't know what is up with the gray skeleton. Bahamut, do you know if there's a... Does this look like a skeleton variant that you're familiar with? Obviously with diamond armor. Minecraft, it's now preferred to have smite over sharpness on swords because of the amount of undead. Oh. A snow variant, okay. That explains the container with, I assume, snowballs. '96 or '97? Yeah. Probably '97. Alright, so 18. Alright, we got a little micro building, snow building. I'm sure that's correct, Bahamut, then. Yeah, we played the crap out of it for those 2 days. Like, over dial-up with each other or something. I think he downloaded it over dial-up. We might have had ISDN lines by then, but I don't remember. It was very slow. It was like a full day download process. You're sensing a winter theme? Yeah, I know. Weird how there might be a winter theme to the advent calendar, huh? You worked at an ISP from 95 to 2007. Was great setting on the high speeds. Yeah. There we go. So we got a little Minecraft building there. Spare parts. One of the nice things about the Minecraft sets, Minecraft advent calendars, is just lots of spare parts. 1x1 plates in light blue and brown, 1x1 tiles in white and light blue, and a green 1x1 plate flower. Alright, so that was for the 18th. Now, the 19th is right here. And we got 2 sheepies. We had unlimited internet at the time, Wolfon. If we were still on dial-up, we had unlimited at that time. I want to say that we had a local provider called Errol's. So it dyed green and red. Pair of sheepies. So that was for the 19th day. All right, now a 20 is down here. All right, so we got a zombie, and I think some diamond ore. You miss the whole dial-up thing yourself? Don't remember when you got internet, but it must have been after 2000. I had AOL. To start. That was my first internet. Not sure what the, I guess this might be an enchanted axe. I don't know what the purple lavender is for an axe. Size-wise, how do these sheep compare to regular Lego sheep? Pretty large. Enchanted Axe, there you go. Alright, not a rogue AI. I will keep those in mind. I think we're only going to do 2 for now. We'll do 3 next Wednesday, on Friday. Because we will have finished all of the Advent calendar stuff. There we go. So it's, I believe it's supposed to be diamond in that. Spare parts, we've got a medium azure 1x1 cylinder plate and dark gray 1x1 plate. And a zombie with an enchanted axe. Okay. I do appreciate that the Minecraft sets have kind of like an established pattern for block size. A 2x2 brick with a plate is a block in like a Minecraft block kind of thing. And that does allow kids to, you know, make their own blocks and stuff. Alright, so there is 21. Probably an enchanted iron axe. Rare to see zombies and skeletons in diamond gear. That's true, it is. Alright, so we got a fir tree that is decorated with ornaments. Which I don't think you can do in actual Minecraft. I actually have not played Minecraft, I don't think, since the last time I streamed it. I think I might have Minecrafted myself out with that. Yeah, I've seen them once or twice, but not very often. Alright, there's the first level of the tree. Kind of surprised that you can't decorate the trees. Huh. Has, okay. Spare parts, 2 extra gold 1x1 cylinder plates, 1 red 1x1 cylinder plate with hollow stud, and a green, dark green 1x1 plate. And here is our little spruce tree with decorations. Oh yeah, it has definitely undergone a few updates. Alright, there's 22. Alright, we got a chair with a bit of a fire in front of it. So you can warm your feet by the fire. I don't even know what that is. Bahamut. Oh, actually, I did play a little bit. Because they had the digs, the archaeological sites or something. Well, yeah, I know that. I mean, like, I don't know what it is in Minecraft. As a mob, you mean? Alright, spare parts, trans orange feather flame, and candle flame. Ah, okay. Is it aggressive, or is it... Oh, rideable. Alright. So we got our little fire and our little chair. Alright, that's 22. 23 is over here. Alright, we have... I guess a candle and... food? Maybe? I'm not sure. It's also aggressive, though, in some variants, as it does come with a zombie form. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Things to keep me away from the water even more. Like the stupid trident-wielding zombies. I wish there was a customizable slider where you could, like, turn off certain things. Like, turn off zombies with tridents. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. It might be like a cake or pie or something. I don't know what that print is. Spare part, trans orange candle flame. And finally, 24. We got a Santa Villager. Using the witch's hat. There we go. And let's see. Here's the furnace. Get a cookie on top. And a bucket of snow. Alright, so spare parts, white 1x1 cylinder plate, medium nougat 1x1 cylinder tile with cookie print, and a tan bucket handle. So we got our bucket of snow. We got the furnace, which has a lit furnace print and an unlit furnace print, which is nice. And then, Lel Bunny's favorite, a villager. Specifically, a Santa villager. Coming to steal the cookies. Oops. I'm not sure if this is the witch's hat. It is kind of like going back a little bit. And I don't know if the witch's hat does that. But that is all of the Advent calendar items. This was, again, a gift from Seal and Mortar, and I really do appreciate that. So thanks to him once again. I do like the Advent calendars. I didn't get many this year. They oftentimes, like, I will always get a town one when it has good pieces in it. Alright, let's see. Okay. Let's get out our minifig sheet here. And get our minifig pack. We are currently missing the Fencer. We only need one here. Okay, so first of all, D6. 2. All right, so we're going over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, roll that 6 again. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's start a prediction. If I can find where my cursor is. All right, can all guess what is inside the minifig pack? Get your predictions in. All right, let me get my timer all ready. So we got a 4 for Bahamut. That would be the Snake Charmer. I believe Nadarogai had 12, which would be the Samurai Lady. Let's go ahead and roll for mine. 19, that's a reroll. 17, that's a reroll. 8. That would be the Egyptian Warrior. First guess is a Minotaur comic book penciler. You're going to say the Kendo guy? So 11, that's a Fencer. Standard European fencing. That is the one that we need. So we are hoping to get that one. So Lil Bunny had a Minotaur comic book penciler, and Bahamut has a Leonin treasure hunter. Yeah, Wolfon's kitty decided to put a guest in. All right, get your predictions in. 30 seconds remaining. Can I guess what is inside the minifig pack? Get your guesses in. I mean, if we get lucky, we might finish this pack up, this set up, and then we'd have 2 to start on Friday. 2 new ones to start. But go ahead and get your predictions in. Predictions are just about closed. So let me get my timer all ready. And there we go. All right. And go. All right, let's see. What do we got? What do we got? That is... What is that? I gotta... Round head of some sort. I think it's a helmet. All right. Let me see if I can find another piece, because it's not helping me any. All right, I think I know. All right, 47.43. I think we have the Goblin Raider. Let's see. Is it correct? The Goblin Raider. Yes, it is. All right. I think this was what was throwing me off. All right, so let's go ahead and mark that one off. That is our 4th one of you. And choose the outcome. That was 20 to 50 seconds. Complete that prediction. All right, let's see. Who got the hams? If Twitch will ever load it up. Kinshir and Lord Canis getting all of the hams. A very, very big payout for you guys. Very nice. Crimson Clover, Bahamut, and Wolfon going for within 20 seconds. And howdy, Crimson. Didn't see you in there, lurking away. Shield of Hope going for 50 to 60, and Lel Bunny going for no. All right. You were 3 seconds away. That's true, you were. All right, High Performance Networking, have a good night. Thank you very much for coming on out. Lurking little lurker, indeed. How's it going? There we go. He's got his loot bag and his giant, ridiculous sword. Not a big fan of these swords. But I do like the hat. I think this might be a Green Goblin hat from some of the Spider-Man sets originally. But that is our Series 13 minifig. Next up, we have a Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. We still have, let's see, which ones do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 11, and 12. So those are the ones we have left. All right. There we go. So I think we've gotten about half of these. So let me start a prediction. I'm going to go a little bit far back to get the box. There we go. All right. Can all guess what is inside the minifig box? First, I will shake it and make a guess. Then I will weigh it. And I will also roll for it to see what it is going to be. So go ahead and get your predictions in. Bahamut goes for 5. That is Spider-Man 2099, which we've already gotten, so you'll want to re-roll. 7 for Wolfon. That is going to be Cyborg Spider-Woman. Second guess is a Minotaur chess player. 8 for Bahamut. That is Sun Spider. That is available. So go ahead and get your predictions in. I'll go ahead and get my my box scanner all up and ready as well. All right, there we go. A Leonin Monopoly champ. Ah, but which token does he like to play with? That's the important thing. Does he play with the car? The top hat? Inquiring minds want to know. All right, get your predictions in. Can I guess the train? Good choice. Good choice. Get your predictions in. Got about 20 seconds remaining. So get your predictions in. Can I guess what is inside the minifig box? So I will shake it, I will roll for it, and then I will weigh it. And I have no weights for any of these this time. All right, predictions are just about closed. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see. All right, definitely hear some small parts. All right, I'm going to guess Prowler, so number 3. Let's see what the die says. 10, I need to re-roll. 1, so that is Spider-Man, Miles Morales. And then let's weigh it. 16, that is pretty light, so there's not going to be too many pieces to this one. I'm going to say Werewolf Spider-Man. So 12. All right. So let's go ahead and scan it and see. That is Cyborg Spider-Woman. That is number 7. All right. That is not what I guessed. Let's go ahead and open it and see. All right, that is indeed correct. All right, so let's choose the outcome. And I was thinking about that one. But I thought it might have been a few too many pieces. Now, you know what? I'm realizing I chose Prowler because of the number of pieces, and the cape should have given it away because I would have heard a box in there. So that is a no. Let's complete that prediction. Who is getting the hams? All right, Lel Bunny getting all of the hams. Very nice. Bahamut and Crimson Clover going for yes with guess. Kinshir and Shield of Hope going for yes with die roll. And Lord Canis Wolfon and Revit Rot going for yes with wait. All right. Let's go ahead and put the minifig together. That was upside down. So I have no idea who this is supposed to be. Petra Parker, apparently. Ah, okay, so I didn't realize that, that's another thing. I didn't realize that this was, I was thinking that this was just, like, parts that I didn't really recognize, rather than 1x1 cylinder plate, 2L bar, kind of thing, and I didn't clock that there was a utility belt either. So, we got a bright orange utility belt, gray 1x1 cylinder plate with hollow stud, and a gray 2L bar with stop as our additional pieces. Let's go ahead and zoom in on a Cyborg Spider-Woman. So I wonder if this this shoulder pad piece was for like a Bane minifig, because that kind of makes me think of Bane. Looks like something out of Mad Max. Yeah, it kind of does. Just needs to be more gimp suit than a spider suit. But that is our minifig. Now, before we wrap things up, I do want to do a preview. I haven't gotten the shipping yet, but we do have a preview of the animal collection, because I needed to get a... Get out of here. A sheet for it. I can find where the... There it is. So this is what we got for whenever these come. So it'll be later this month, and we need to finish up the Spider-Man ones first. But we've got a peacock. We've got a kitty with a ball of yarn. Sunflower for the peacock. We got a goldfish with some fish food. We got a monkey with banana. We got a frog with a bubble maker. Koala with a leaf and a boomerang. Got a Dalmatian with frisbee. We got an alligator with a rubber ducky and a life preserver. We got a dolphin with a clam. We got a bunny with an egg and an Easter basket. We got a cowardly lion with a drumstick. And we got a parrot with a snack box. So we can get this carrot addicted to crackers, as we should. Incidentally, this is a new bunny headpiece. The other ones have straight ears. I'm not sure if the cat is new. It kind of makes me think of... It kind of looks like the raccoon. I think most of the others are new. Other headpieces are new. The monkey tail is not, and a lot of these guys do have tail pieces as well, but the props are kind of random. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... Most of them are fairly appropriate. Like, the sunflower is not really... I don't know if that has anything to do with, like, peacocks. But obviously a ball of yarn for the cat, fish food for the fish, banana for the monkey. Bubble maker, it's just something. Boomerang for the koala, because Australia, of course. Frisbee for the dog, of course. And the life preserver and rubber ducky for the crocodile is just kind of as a funny thing. Dolphin has the clamshell, and that's just because of the ocean. The Easter egg and basket for the bunny makes sense. The chicken leg for the lion is just to give it some meat. And then, you know, parrot chow. Cat's got double treats today because he accidentally tore open 2 portions instead of 1. Lucky day. All right. But we haven't gotten this one in yet. We will eventually. I'm looking forward to it. The tail on the peacock is not new. We had that on the turkey. Trying to think if there are others that are... Yeah, I think most of the other heads are new, though. The monkey might not be new. I don't know if we've had a monkey. But anyway. The next set after this will be a generic one as well. I know that there's going to be a reference to Bionicle in it. At least that's the rumor. Although, there was a... it's Bionicle and I think Ninjago. There's going to be references to those two. And that set people off thinking that the whole set would be references. But it looks like it's just going to be those two. I don't know. We don't know what's going to be in the rest of the set yet, though. Anyway, that is going to be where we wrap it up tonight. We have a lot of Notre Dame to go. We only got through 6 bags because the little castles were surprisingly robust in their builds. But when we come back next time, we will dive into some more Notre Dame. When we finish Notre Dame, I've got some other architecture sets, so I'm kind of going to make this an architecture month, which we'd be further into if I had gotten these streams going earlier this month, but I have been sick. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming on out, and I shall see you on Friday. We'll be back to continue Notre Dame. We'll be back on Saturday for some more Spelljammer. We'll be back on Monday for some more Dragon Quest II. So thanks for coming out, everyone, and I shall see you next time. See you then, everyone.